When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Spotify.
Feel your max with Brooks Running and the all-new Ghost Max 2. They're the shoes you deserve, designed to streamline your stride and help protect your body. Treat yourself to feel-good landings on an ultra-high stack of super comfy nitrogen-infused cushion that takes the edge off every step, every day. The Brooks Ghost Max 2. You know, technically, they're a form of self-care. Brooks, let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
At BlueNile.com, you can find endless ways to make your moments sparkle. From classic and timeless jewelry gifts to creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. And right now, you can save up to 40% on fine jewelry and 25% on engagement ring settings during the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale, going on now. Go to BlueNile.com to shop the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale and save up to 40%. That's BlueNile.com.
And welcome back to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It's another Monday. It is August 26th as we approach the end of August and get ready for September, which means training camps, hockey, all that fun stuff. But until then, another Mailbag episode coming your way with myself and Snail on the other end of the mic here. And before we jump into your questions, we had enough for another two-parter this week. So we'll be back later in the week. But before we get part one underway, toss over to Snail and see how he's doing out there in Seattle.
I'm doing all right. I was just I was talking to Robbie before we hopped on. I was listening to a podcast and then I was reading up on it, how having a bit of an existential crisis, thinking about how there was a whole life as an organism before we actually were born. So that was like a good way to kind of stretch the vocal cords and stretch the mind a bit before we hopped on here to talk some way more chill topics like hockey and stuff. It's Monday. It's raining out here. I did have hockey today, but much like a lot of things out here in the Pacific Northwest, these things can get rained out. So hockey was rained out today.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah.
So no hockey for Snell on this Monday. A little rainy in Seattle, something you never hear.
Yeah, shocker. How is it out in PA?
It rained this morning, and then in the afternoon it got sunny and it warmed up a little bit. It's supposed to be a warmer. It seems like summer's throwing one last punch here before we hit September, so it's going to be a little warmer this week. But this weekend and into next week, it's supposed to start to cool down. So hoping that we just get through this week. And
how hot is it going to get out there?
Mid to upper 80s.
That's hot.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm one.
Yeah, ours is the highest it's going to be, it looks like, for like the rest of until mid-September. I think I saw 78 twice. Everything else looks pretty mellow. Yeah. So pretty hyped about that. Summer's trying to take like one last... what do they say? It's not trying to go silently into that good night. It's its last little gasp of breath before hopefully it's just snuffed out by Old Man Winter as he begins his trek down from the north.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, hopefully Old Man Winter's still a few months off, but I definitely hope that some cooler weather starts to push in. We get some fall weather here because I'm just tired of summer.
Yeah, I'm over it too. Well, Robbie, we got some questions from a little bit more of a variety of listeners. Always appreciate everyone chiming in with their questions and giving us stuff to talk about. The first question is from Logan Cranky. Welcome back to the Mailbag, Logan. He says, this is a juicy one. Who is your top choice to trade before training camp to free up the logjam Of forwards, I think there could be an argument that there's a logjam at a couple positions.
Yeah.
But who would, if you were in Kyle Dubas's shoes, who are you shipping out?
Yeah, log jams all over the place. This to be done for forwards and defensemen. So if we're looking at forwards, like the question asked, I'm trying to get out of under the contracts of like a Noel Chari or a Matt Nieto, especially with McGroarty coming into the fold now. I'd much rather have McGroarty in the lineup than one of those guys, even if it's just to get him experience and kind of build him up and continue to develop him. I just don't see the point of playing guys like him or guys like Nieto and Achari over a guy like McGroarty. Now, if we're looking for value, I think Lars Eller is probably going to bring you the most value. But I don't know if the Penguins are really interested in trading Eller. A lot of people pointed him out, and maybe the trade deadline, depending on how the season pans out. But I think that they like Lars Eller. They like what he brought to the team last year, especially if they can push him down into a fourth line role. I'm not really necessarily high on moving on from Lars Eller, but Noel Acciari and Matt Nieto, both guys who came in the summer of 2023, who both battled injuries this year, who don't look like long-term solutions in this lineup. Maybe move on from guys like that. Now, if you really want to get fancy, maybe trade Rickard Rakell if you can find a taker there and put McGroarty right into that top six. But again, it's going to be really hard to convince someone to take on that contract without giving up assets in return. So I would point to Acciari or Nieto. Eller, I think, will be discussed by the online community. I just don't know if that's the way the Penguins want to go. Other than that, a lot of the guys that are showing up on the roster right now are going to be AHL guys, so you don't have to worry too much about them. But I think to clear up this logjam, Acciari and Nieto, if I was the one making decisions, make the most sense to try to package out, get anything you can for them, open up some money, a roster spot, and build through youth to fill out those final spots on the roster.
Would you be making these moves solely for cap space, or is there something you'd be looking to get in return for some of these guys?
I don't think there's much value to a guy like Acciari or Nieto, so you take the picks you can get. Dubas is clearly trying to hoard as many picks as possible and then move them for a roster space. Acciari is going to net you more in the salary cap realm than Nieto would, but any money you can get off the books, I think, puts you in a better position should you be in contention come February to start making moves at the trade deadline. Obviously, the big name there would be Rickard Rakell, would open up a lot of space. But again, I just don't think you're getting that off the books without retention / giving up assets for that contract to be gone. But, I mean, if you can move a guy like Acciari and Nieto at the same time, that opens up 2 roster spots, clears some of that logjam, gets you some cap space, and no matter what assets you get in return are assets you didn't have before. So that's kind of where my stance comes to that. All right, question number 2. We're going to our good friend Kim Larson from Denmark. And he asked, do you think Rutger McGroarty will be on the Penguins roster this season? And could you see him playing on Sid's line?
So, he's definitely, I think there's like a 100% chance he plays in an NHL game this season. The one thing that I will say about that, so I think he's going to get a good opportunity right off the bat, I would assume. I think that he is, scouts have said he's close to NHL ready. I think that with his size and him being a left shot and his competition right now for Sid's line would be Drew O'Connor. Can he outshine Drew O'Connor, he's going to get a shot with Sid. But it's tough though, because I don't necessarily want him sticking around on the roster if he's playing bottom 6 minutes. I don't think he's a bottom 6 player. Historically, he's never been a bottom 6 player. He does have the size, but I don't want him being. I don't want him playing like Acciari. If that's the case, I would rather him go to the AHL and get top 6 minutes in a pro league playing against full grown men, and then get another shot when he's gone down there. And I don't think everyone always says they want them to dominate at that level before they call him up. I think in some cases, maybe some specific type of cases, sure. But I don't always think that that's the case, like that they need to go down and just absolutely play themselves out of that league beforehand. I think getting him some looks down in the AHL to get some top 6 minutes, if that's not what if Drew O'Connor is out playing him and getting minutes on Sid's wing, send him down, get top 6 minutes. Otherwise, I think he will get a good long look as in the top 6 on the NHL roster. I think it'd be awesome for him to play on Sid's wing. What better player to help, in a leadership role, not even just on ice stuff, but just getting some time around Sid. I think it can only be a good experience for this kid. So that's where I'm at with it. Robbie, you got any thoughts on Rutger being on the roster?
I definitely agree that I think he's going to be in the NHL at some point. No question. When that is, I'd love to see it on opening night. I think he can definitely play his way into that position. Absolutely. He's definitely not a fourth line player. So yeah, like you said, I'd rather him getting big minutes down in the AHL than 10, 12 minutes a night in the fourth line. Third line, I think to get his feet wet would be a good place to start if possible. But if he comes out in preseason and is showing a chemistry with Crosby, I absolutely think that maybe you take a shot then and get him on the roster opening night and go with it from there. But I think he has all the potential in the world to be on this opening night roster, and a 99% chance that he's in the NHL at some point this coming season.
Do you think that there is a world where Rutger McGroarty could be potentially a Calder favorite?
I mean, I guess it depends on what Celebrini decides to do this year. I mean, it depends on how that comes together. It doesn't feel like there is a runaway like a Bedard or some kind of situation this year. So he could absolutely come in. It always feels like there's one guy that you don't really know much about during the preseason until games really get going that puts himself in that Calder race. So I absolutely think that he could be in the discussion if he would start at the beginning of the year in Pittsburgh and start producing right away.
When's the last time the Penguins had a Calder winner?
Evgeny Malkin. Jordan Stahl, sorry. No, Evgeny Malkin. They were the same year. Evgeny Malkin.
Stahl? Did Matt Murray get a sniff at the Calder? Was he not winning, but was he in talks?
He was so injured the year he actually qualified that he didn't really play enough games to get in the talks for it.
By the way, Matt Murray reportedly said he has never felt better than he does right now.
We'll see.
All right, third question of the mailbag from our good pal Brian. How does the addition of McGroarty change your outlook on the 24-25 season? Brian said he went from being more excited that hockey is starting to actually thinking that this team may surprise some people.
At the very least, it's injected some excitement into the end of the offseason around Pittsburgh. It's definitely created some discussion. Again, if he comes in and shines, I think that it's an absolute upgrade to what they have on the roster right now. Maybe not over like a Rust but maybe he's the next Jake Gensel. I don't know. He plays a little bit more physical than Gensel. He throws his weight around a bit more.
From Nebraska too.
He is from Nebraska. Played hockey at Michigan. He has pedigree. He's won at about every level he's played at. He has the intangibles that kind of reek of future captain material. So absolutely, I think it's definitely added some excitement. And again, if he comes in and produces, yeah, he absolutely makes this team better. This team, I think on paper I think they're getting close to what we've seen the past few years, which has been a bubble team. But if you get a guy like McGroarty that comes in and can produce at a high level, he's young, he has legs. I think that he can be a kind of guy that pushes you into a wild card spot. Again, a lot of things still need to go right throughout the season for other players, but I absolutely think that if the Penguins are a bubble team, he's absolutely the guy that can push them into a playoff picture. So yeah, I guess I don't want to say, you never say that it guarantees a playoff spot or anything like that, but I definitely think it can be the kind of player that can maybe give you an extra 4, 5, 6 points in the standings, which the past 2 years would have been more than enough to have the Penguins in the playoffs. So yeah, at the very least, it's added some excitement to as hockey season approaches. Definitely add some discussion. Definitely got the energy up. So just that, I think, helps get the kind of reset expectations even a little bit. So we'll see how it plays out. But if he's the kind of guy that can step in, produce, especially alongside Crosby, absolutely can help you get a few more points and maybe a playoff spot. All right, back to Kim here. Since Snail started playing in a beer league, Snail wants to know if he got any of the white Nike skates to play in.
I don't. I should talk to our pal about what I need to do to maybe acquire a Nike boot. I would like to. I feel like I'm just like not good enough to wear those though either. Like some of like the dudes that just rip at hockey that I play with, they have like super old blades that they've just like continued to just like repair and juice up. Actually, I have them right here. These are my boots. These are the War Machine 3s made by Mission. I've had them for 2.5 years. Got some Lebeda asphalt wheels with the orange. I cinched the tongue down with rubber bands when I first got them, so I get that massive Ron Hainsey Shea Weber flop going. So that's what I'm rocking right now. But I should talk to our old pal and see what it might take to get a couple pairs of those, or at least just one pair, and get a couple of pictures that make me look really good in them, and just make sure there's no footage so people don't judge too harshly. But I now that you've mentioned that, I'm gonna inquire about those, because I mean, dude, even if I just had them for like the shelf or something, those are like a museum piece.
They are obviously very cool. We've talked to CJ in the past. We'll probably have another interview with him here once the season gets rolling to see where things are with him. And we talked about the sweet Thailand jerseys that both of us had our eyes on whenever they come out. So
maybe a Skating Penguin Network logo on the Nikes.
Would that not be something else? Special made skating. I don't even need the skates. Just give me the boot.
Just the boot and put them in the Louvre.
Yeah. We'll talk to CJ hopefully here in a couple weeks.
Sooner than later, maybe.
Yeah. We'll have to reach out again to see where he's at. But that Chris Letang has the Nordique colored fleur-de-lis version of the skates that were made. Malkin has his version. So we'll have to have an update with CJ here at some point to see where everything stands. But as of now, Snell is not rocking the white Nikes. He's he's rocking the white Missions with the orange wheels. But still looking fly out there.
Oh yeah, still.
What do you play on, asphalt or?
It's like it's not asphalt. It's like I thought it was called Sport Court, but I was corrected that Sport Court is in fact not what that is. It's like I think it's like a really polished like concrete.
Oh, okay.
It's like a roller rink. I don't know what it is, because I thought it was Sport Court, and then one guy was like, "That's not Sport Court," and I was just like, "What is it then?" And anyways, it's a mystery, but it's concrete. And with that, we will move on to a question from Brian, and he asks here, Robbie, how would an athlete like LeBron fare in the NHL? Should we just be glad athletes like him stick to other sports?
So, basketball players would be by far and away the largest hockey players, at least height-wise, that you've ever seen. Imagine Shaq out there on skates at 7 foot.
Who's that? Is his name Wembanyama?
Victor Wembanyama. He's like 7'4".
He looks like an alien.
Yeah, again, I think a lot of people always say, well, what if our best athletes played soccer? Then we'd be the best at soccer. And I don't necessarily buy into that, because like Wembanyama is one of the best French athletes in the world right now and doesn't play soccer, but they're still really good. I don't think like their size has to be taken into a factor here. LeBron is 6'3", something, 200 some pounds. Like, that's not really how soccer players are built. Like, it's just kind of, everybody kind of gets into this, our best athletes don't play soccer, our best athletes are playing football or basketball. Like LeBron playing hockey would be one of the most just gigantic humans you've ever seen on skates. It would be almost comical how large he would be on the ice.
He's bigger than Chara, isn't he?
Bigger than Chara, and he's bulkier than Chara. Like,
that's insane.
It's just insane. Yeah. So I think he's built like he could be a football player. He'd be a perfect tight end. But
dude, LeBron would be an unreal lacrosse player.
He probably would be an unreal lacrosse player. He has size. He has speed. He has height and bulk, not just tall. But he's just a huge. Like, imagine trying to guard him playing lacrosse. It'd be like, how would you even guard a man like that? If you
imagine trying to whack his stick and give him a check, it could just be, and his shot would probably be unreal.
Yeah, I mean, you can turn on and watch like the really good pro lacrosse guys now, and it's like they're extremely athletic athletes. Imagine putting a LeBron-sized person in peak physical condition into a lacrosse. Again, hockey has the skating aspect, which makes it completely out there, but you don't just see like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" hockey players. They play basketball for a reason. They play football for a reason. But LeBron playing lacrosse would be wild.
Super wild. He'd probably be super good. LeBron could play football too, probably.
Yeah, he'd be. LeBron would be a great tight end.
Great tight end. Yeah, he's built like that.
He's just huge. I think obviously he's playing the sport that's designed for his height and his skill ability. But like Crosby, I would never imagine Crosby on an NBA court because Crosby would be like one of the shortest people out there, and Crosby's 6 foot. Crosby grew up playing baseball, and he was apparently a really good baseball player. That would probably be more in his wheelhouse than basketball or football or anything like that. So,
or he might be sick at soccer too. He might be like Messi, kind of.
I could see Crosby playing soccer. I think Crosby could play lacrosse too. I think.
Oh, for sure, Crosby could be a lacrosse player.
You imagine that lower body strength playing lacrosse? Like,
no, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Snell's a lacrosse guy. He knows it. He understands it a little bit more than me. They need more goaltending in lacrosse.
They do. They also need to just let in college lacrosse and stuff. They need to just stop with the hardo mentality and let the goalies wear gear. They don't let those guys wear any shin pads or anything. Just a chest protector and a cup, and you got dudes just hucking that ball 100+ miles an hour. It's a rubber ball with a iron core. And it's like, dude, can we just like stop acting like we're that tough?
Oh, do the pro goalies wear anything?
Yeah, like but in like box lacrosse, they wear more gear than a hockey goalie. Their gear is bigger than a hockey goalie's in box lacrosse.
What's box lacrosse?
That's the indoor, like the Canadian like pro lacrosse, and it's in the United States too, but that's like the Canadian game. And then the outdoor lacrosse, like the PLL and stuff, college lacrosse, it's like outdoor, and those goalies wear just a little bit more than a soccer goalie. Actually, they don't wear shin pads or thigh pads, just a cup, and they wear a chest protector that doesn't even cover the shoulders. So,
well, PLL goalies don't wear a lot, do they?
Nothing except for the chest protector.
Oh gosh, I cannot imagine getting like a ball ripped right into my thigh.
Oh god, long pole, 110 mile an hour shot directly at you.
I mean, I see videos of like some of those pros just like practicing. And they're just like, you don't even see it. Like, I don't even know how.
No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's a Shea Weber slap shot every shot.
With torque, like, with momentum, like, behind it coming out of that net.
I've seen, like, the lacrosse goalie gloves, like the PLL guys wear. They have this, like, thumb that is, it's just this comical big thumb on like a normal glove, and it's because when they're holding their goalie stick, their thumbs stick out, and like I guess it took a lot of completely mangled and broken thumbs taking shots off of the pole. Yeah, like your thumb just getting pinched in between 100-mile-an-hour shot and their pole.
And you can't, like, if you break your thumb, you can't hold on to anything. Like, you're pretty much out of commission. But lacrosse is a wild sport. We should just talk more lacrosse sometime because it's a great sport. Great sport.
It is. It's big out on the East Coast too. Like I know.
Yeah, and the East Coast and the West Coast. Yeah.
Penn State, don't they have a good lacrosse team?
Yeah, Penn State has. They went to the Final Four, I think, 2 years ago, and they're just like a pretty much a perennial NCAA tournament team. and their girls team's actually getting much better too. But they put a lot of money into developing that program, and it's really college lacrosse is actually extremely fun to watch too.
Oh, it is. It's like college football. It's like one of the better college sports. I think if you can find it on TV, it's worth watching.
Yeah, especially now again, and your powerhouse like your East Coast schools are down in the South and stuff. But lacrosse is a very cool game.
It is. I like how it's close to hockey, but not. It's kind of its own sport. Like there's a lot of. It's like basketball and hockey kind of mixed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can play it on turf or grass depending on what you have available. The concept of hockey is roughly the same. Put ball in net. They have penalties, I believe.
Yep. Penalty box. Same amount of forwards and defensemen.
Okay. Goalies, except I don't think there's icing or anything, is there?
There can be actually, I think, but dude, there's some great goalie goals in box lacrosse, like some highlights of goalie scoring goals because you can pull your goaltender.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's sick. Nice. I wonder, to our Euro listeners, do you have lacrosse out in Europe?
Yeah, I don't know. I know like handball is big out in Europe, which is lacrosse, like box lacrosse, basically, but with your hands.
So there's that, and then isn't there something called hurling?
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen videos of hurling. I'm not sure all the rules on that.
It kind of looks like lacrosse too.
Yeah, I don't know what the differences are, but I do not know. Yeah, if they have lacrosse, let us know because that'd be really cool.
Interesting to see. Yeah, or have you ever seen that sport bandy?
I have not. I do not believe I have.
Bandy is like a European, I think, someone will correct me, but bandy, you play with like a little wooden stick and you're running around and and it's a ball, but the goals are massive. Like it's like a soccer goal and the goaltender has to like make these like insane saves with like these weird, they look like an upside down cane, like something you'd use when you're a senior citizen.
Yeah.
Insane sport. I think it's European, but anyways, the root of the question was, would LeBron be a great athlete in the NHL, or would he be a good hockey player? The consensus is probably no, right?
Probably no. I think there's, on the list of, like, if you're looking at just the power sport, the big four sports, I think hockey is probably the bottom, just because of his size and his build would not exactly suit the NHL game.
Like, if he even grew up in Canada, I feel like he would be bound to find, like, basketball or Canadian football legend probably, too.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Sticking with Brian here for our next question. He said, what goal lives in your head rent-free? Brian says Gino's clapper on the breakaway is his answer. Non-Penguins goal would be Rick Nash against Phoenix in 2008. Such a fun talent that was stuck in Columbus for the majority of his career.
Yeah, Rick Nash really got the short end of the stick on that one. He's like so big in Canada and just was stuck on a mediocre Columbus team for so long. Imagine him in his prime on like just pretty much any other team. But yeah, a goal that lives rent free in my head. I love that clapper he takes after he gets buried in the corner and he picks the puck up and comes back in just a clapper from like, I don't know, like pretty close. I like Gino's spinorama goal from like 2016 or something like that. I forget who they're playing, but he has a little backhand spinorama backhand, and it's just bar down. Beautiful goal. I remember watching that one live in my living room and absolutely losing my mind, filming it, putting it on my Instagram. And then a goal that's not Penguins. Oh, I would also say the Kunitz OOT Knucklers is another one that I think about. It's just like cemented in my head forever. I'll be a senior citizen with dementia, and if I hear Doc Emmerich's voice that, I'll like rise up out of my wheelchair like, oh my God, I remember this. Heart rate goes through the roof. What's a great goal that wasn't a Penguins goal that's just something that I'll never forget? I don't know, probably like McDavid's Ridiculous, where he like re-enters the zone and it's him and Morgan Riley one-on-one, and he's not even looking he's like actually doing like almost like a no look, and he absolutely walks him and beautiful goal. I remember that. Or where he regroups, I think it's against the Rangers, and he just pretty much 1-on-5s the Rangers and scores. Probably one of those. Those will get me hyped. What about you, Robbie? What's a Penguins goal and a non-Penguins goal?
Penguins' goal is we got to go way back here to Malkin's rookie year where he danced Marty Brodeur
Yeah.
On a breakaway. It was the famous Doc Emmerich Shades of Mario
Yep.
call.
Oh, that's a great one.
Malkin's winner, or not winner, but spinorama backhander against the Hurricanes in 2009 in the Eastern Conference Final is another one. Non-Penguins category, again, I mean, man, there's so many hockey goals I've seen in my life. It's sometimes tough to pick just one. The Alec Martinez game winner to win the cup. Maybe just because it was against the Rangers or whatnot, but that one always pops up into my head. The Kane goal where he does like the
heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Where he does the like
sliding across on the ice on that one. I believe that was in a Western Conference Final. There's just so many that stick in your head. The Crosby one-hander against Buffalo is one. There's just so. I mean, you could sit here all day and think.
Oh yeah, they shoved those highlights at this point in the summer. So many highlights have been watched too. There's just so many great goals that have been scored.
Absolutely.
All right, a question from Kim Larson. I hear Swayman hasn't signed a contract with Boston yet. Would you test them with an offer involving Tristan Jarry?
So the issue here is today, before we recorded this, it came out that Jeremy Swayman is asking for $10 million a year. I don't think Boston's just going to let Swayman walk, and I don't think Swayman wants to leave Boston. Is he going to get $10 million a year? Gonna say no. Going to say that they will sit down and hammer something out and make it work. I don't know. Again, you'd have to dump Jarry. You have to dump other players as well. You probably have to get rid of Raquel if he wants that much. And again, if he goes outside of Boston, it would probably cost you a premium. You wouldn't get the hometown discount per se. But I mean, Swayman, I was on board with trading for Ullmark. I thought they should have traded for Swayman last offseason when they were kind of deciding what they want to do with their goaltenders. But, I mean, if Boston would be stupid enough to make that deal, then heck yeah, go ahead and make the trade. We'll do it. Give us Swayman for Jarry. We'll make the money work. Don't think that he wants to leave Boston, and don't think Boston wants to lose him, obviously. He's obviously a great goaltender. But it would cause so much. You'd have to do so much work to make it happen that I just don't know if the Penguins have the moves in the bag. You'd have to give up assets, I think, outside of Jarry as well, and I don't think that Kyle Dubas wants to do that. So if it'd be a 1-for-1 straight up and you could clear money, then sure. I just don't see any real possibility or realistic scenario where they could make it happen.
I'd like to see it happen. You know what I was thinking is funny is remember when Brad Marchand freaked out at Tristan Jarry and like whacked him in the helmet with his stick and he was like beaking at him?
Yeah.
Like, how would that go over if they trade? Would Tristan Jarry and him have to go out for a dinner and be like, all right, can we like I'm sorry, I'm Brad Marchand, I'm crazy.
That's just how he is. Like, that's his natural state of just being an annoying rat. So
no, I think Brad Marchand actually seems like one of those dudes who on the ice, it just brings out pure lunacy, but he'd buy you dinner after the game and like, have beers, and he'd probably like be cool with your family and stuff. But on the ice, he's like just a lunatic.
I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see just that him, the rat thing, just being an on ice persona. Absolutely.
Yeah, he has to have that to be effective.
Yeah. All right, wrapping us up this week, we're going to Kim Larson. That Crosby contract. Any concerns yet, or are you still confident?
All right, Robbie. Do you want me to be like honest or like brutally honest?
You can be however you want to be.
I think like on the surface, I'm like It's fine. Like I think I'm confident. Like he's gonna, who cares? He pretty much said he's gonna figure something out. But I think there is a small part of me inside. It's kind of like when you haven't gotten a text back from your crush after a few days. You're like, well,
Yeah.
She said she liked me. I have nothing to worry about. But yeah, she hasn't responded to me in 2 days. There's a part of you inside that starts wondering: is there someone else? Has someone else been talking to my baby? That's where I'm at. I'm wondering.
Okay, yeah,
I'm a little bit paranoid. Where I
will say technically, nobody else is allowed to be talking to him.
Yeah, but there's some. He's hanging out with Nathan McKinnon in Cole Harbor, Nova Scotia, or like Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of talks they've been having at the Stubborn Goat that they frequent, where they get beers. It's one of those things where, like, what if McKinnon has sweet talked him and been like, "There's going to be some Landy's coming back. We're going to get rid of Nichushkin at some point. We're going to have a bunch of money opened up. We're going to have just enough to fit your $7 million contract right back into the books here." There's some paranoia going on in my head that I cannot help but admit to, and I cannot shake. So, yeah, he is spoken for. He is technically in a relationship still, but worse things. Like, I mean, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, yeah, he is still spoken for, but like, Robbie, let's be honest, like, stranger things have happened.
Oh yeah, stranger things have absolutely happened.
Where are you at?
I'm at the. I need to hear something from Crosby when camp opens or whenever he talks to the media.
So if he doesn't sign a contract, you want him to open up in like a presser and be like, "What's up?" Does he owe that to us?
Well, I think he's going to be asked about it. I mean, I don't think he owes us anything, but he's going to be asked about it. Again, I don't hold him to the standard of like, you have to tell me why you are not signed, but I would definitely like to, if he would want to answer and be like, here's why, here's where we're at, kind of thing. Because Dubas obviously isn't going to say anything. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I'd like to hear something, but I'm not going to hold him to it that he has to absolutely say anything.
What if Sid wants 10 mil?
Give him 10 mil for 3 years. I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
Okay. I agree. Is there a world where Sid? I don't think he's that type of person. He's not gonna. He's cut from the same cloth as like Bergeron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's getting late into the summer here. Work camp's gonna start up. It's gonna be so damn noisy up in Canada.
Oh,
The second he hits the ice for, like captain's skates or whatever they start doing early on and training camp, and he doesn't have a contract. I mean, Toronto media is going to pretty much be like, it's signed, sealed, and delivered that he's coming to Montreal because he was a fan of them when he was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very annoying if he doesn't sign, but I still think he does sign. So that's where I kind of sit with that.
That's where we're at. What's your levels of concern, everybody, or like that where Sid's at? Because I feel like because we've gotten questions like periodically throughout the summer, everyone else's has to be a little bit restless over it.
Yeah, you think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I do think. I think a lot of people are a lot more scared than they are letting on.
Yeah, and obviously, you'd like to have him signed by now, but it is what it is, and we'll go from there when it happens.
We shall go from there when it happens. Any hockey news rumblings out there?
Nothing I've really seen today. Seems to be a little bit of a quiet little time period after the Penguins made their little bit of noise.
Sidney Crosby is no longer a top 5 centerman in the NHL according to NHL Network top 20 centers.
Must be nice being that delusional.
They had, I think it was like Barkov at number 5, and then they had someone else, Draisaitl. I think it was Draisaitl, and then somebody, and then Matthews, then McDavid.
I mean, there's so many good centers in hockey right now. I mean, you can't really nitpick too much, I guess. But I mean, at 30, what did he just turned 37 to even be a top 10 center anymore is pretty incredible. So
we got
yeah.
Connor McDavid at 1, Nathan McKinnon at 2, Austin Matthews at 3, Leon 4, Barkov 5, Sid at 6.
I mean, that's tough to argue against that top 5. It really is.
I just like to me, it's almost kind of weird that Austin Matthews is like 69 goals is nothing to scoff at. Like, I'm not like, he's a goal scorer, but like as far as like a centerman goes, I would take Sid in as a true Blues. Matthews could score a lot of goals as a winger too. I think if he was a left winger or right winger, he'd be unreal as well. But I think Sid is a better centerman than Austin Matthews.
I can buy that. I can definitely buy that argument.
Now, if Austin Matthews was wearing a jersey other than Toronto Maple Leafs, my opinion might be a little different. You never know. But
there we go.
There it is. Yeah. All right, Robbie. I think that'll do for today's podcast. And we will be back Thursday.
Yeah, we will be back Thursday with another mailbag episode and any news that may come down through like last week. So if you guys listen to this and have any questions or have any other input, you can head back to Twitter and drop them there. You know where to find us on or X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean. Drop your questions or input there, and we'll talk about them on Thursday. So for Snail, I am Robbie. We will talk to you guys later in the week.